Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Angel Atsi. For today's video, I wanted to get a little bit more vulnerable. This is very much an impromptu video, like I didn't plan it out in comparison to my other videos. And so just know that I might get a little bit emotional, but I feel like this is great exposure therapy for me. And I'm using this as an outlet to kind of like express my emotions, as well as hopefully connect with other community members to see like if they can relate, or like maybe we can support each other. And I fucking hate crying, so just know that if I'm crying in this video, I'm gonna edit it out. But without further ado, let's get into the video. I'm gonna be talking about the struggles as a transgender woman. I feel like in no way, shape, or form do I regret transitioning, or do I regret starting my transition. However, I have not seen videos out there where folks talk about their struggles or mention like the emotional toll that comes with like transitioning. And I know we're all kind of like trying to show the best of ourselves and paint a positive picture to like manifest positivity. And at the same time, I think it's important to like talk about like the painful stuff. So hopefully we don't feel alone. And there are a lot of moments like of pain when it comes to like being a transgender woman. I feel like for me specifically, the things that like hurt a lot, that really does impact me, is the lack of connection that I have with like my parents. And I feel like that's really hard for me, and impacts all my other dynamics and relationships. My parents are very traditionally Mexican, and no one in our family is queer, let alone trans, at least that they've like spoken up about. And so like me transitioning has been like hard for them to grapple with, but at the end of the day, like I'm always gonna choose myself, and at the same time I feel like it's important to acknowledge that it hurts, because like who doesn't want to be like loved by their parents? I feel as if sometimes it's hard to find my own self-love because of the lack of love that I received from my parents growing up, and now that it has been coming up in the last 2 years since I've been transitioning. Another thing that really hurts, and is one thing that like, at least as a transgender woman, I have to think about, is being sexualized in the streets, being sexualized when I go out. And I don't just mean like, hey, like what's your number type of thing. It's more so like being inappropriately touched or groped. I recently like went through like a sexual assault in February, and so that's still something that like is very triggering for me. I feel like a lot of the times I shame myself about like the things that I wear, or like how I'm dressed, and I like think about like, well, maybe I should like change the way I dress, but like it doesn't matter what I'm wearing, because regardless of what I'm wearing or how I'm presenting, like a predator is still gonna be a predator. Being sexualized without my consent is one of those things that I really struggle with a lot, and makes me feel very little and very powerless at times. Another thing that I feel like people don't really talk about, when it comes to like the negative aspects of transitioning, is one day I want to be a mother, I want to be a wife with a husband, and I feel like that has come with a lot of like pain, because I also have to consider my partner's family and their perception and their like view on transgender people, because a lot of people believe that like men who are interested in transgender women are like gay or queer or bi, when in reality, like, just because you're interested in a trans woman and just because you're dating a trans woman doesn't necessarily mean that you are gay or queer. You are gay or queer if you choose to identify that way, and if you are not like dating beyond just women. Like, I have to be like weary of like, okay, like, I have a partner, and I also that also comes with like their family, and like what does that like mean for me, and like how does that impact my well-being. And yeah, I feel like I know that dating isn't easy for like a lot of women, and so I know I'm not I'm not in that boat by myself. Like, regardless of being trans or like cisgender women. But it just adds another layer because of my transness that I have to like be hyper vigilant how my partner wants me to show up with family dynamics, or like what their relationship is with their family. And I feel like it can also be triggering because I don't have a relationship with my family, and it's like I have a relationship with my family because they're not like fully accepting of my transition. Like, how am I going to tolerate someone else's family that isn't accepting of my transition? And I do want to acknowledge that as a non-Black transgender woman, I don't face the same like physical harm that like Black transgender women do, especially because they are disproportionately unalived. For me, I feel like when I am fetishized, something else that comes into play being Latina. So I feel like I'm more so like fetishized in like oh, you're spicy, or like you're like, yeah, you're like a Latina mommy. Like, men have verbally told me they're like more likely to go out with me because I don't like visibly present as trans like at times. Y'all are hearing my voice, so I feel like my voice does give it away, and like I'm not gonna change my voice. Like, this is my voice, and I feel like I would never like get a surgery to change that, because I feel like there's also like cisgender women with like deep voice, and I don't feel like my voice is that deep anyway. And so like, yeah, I feel like also like simple things like when your medication isn't ready, like I feel like that's another thing like that people don't really talk about. Like, not everyone has access to like medically transitioning, and I feel like nowadays there's been more issues with like the refilling of my prescription, and I live in a state like California where that shouldn't be impacting me, but like that is impacting me right now. I recently like asked my endocrinologist, who specializes in transgender patients, to change me from like pill estradiol to like the injectable estradiol, just to see what other changes I can get from that. And I feel like I've been trying to get that, and like my doctor said they refilled it, but the like pharmacy where I pick it up says like that my doctor didn't send it, and it's like been this like back and forth, and like I feel like shit like that really triggers me. The medical field is so incompetent and like not really prepared to support trans people in a comprehensive way, or in even like a humanitarian way. And these are like things that I've just been like struggling with. Now that I have this platform, I feel like it's important to share it, because not everything is like, surgeries are important if they're gonna make you happy, but there are other aspects of like life as a transgender woman that's also important to share. I want to be real with like the people who are supporting me. I've been crying like all day, just because these are things that are like weighing heavy on my heart and on my mind. And like, yeah, I have people that I can tell this to, but I also don't have a lot of trans like women like in-person friends, and so like it's good to like be able to like share this, and I know that there's like other trans women watching this. That's me. Please send me love and light, and I'm sending y'all love and light as well. I feel like another thing that isn't easy to talk about is like struggling with like thoughts of, you know, and it's just like trans people do have a higher rate of like themselves, and I know that I love my life, but there's times where I feel so low that I feel like, and I always like, I'm going to be proud of being a transgender woman, but society does make it extremely hard. Thank y'all so much for watching my videos, and thank you so much for all the support y'all have showed me. Thank you so much for tuning in.